going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files, Ask Nick edition. And boy, are we kicking off quite the week.
It's a marathon.
It is a marathon. First and foremost, we have our Ask Nick episodes, which you guys have just tuned in for. We're excited to have you. Sorry about last Monday with the episodes not being available for a couple hours. People had to pay for it. Don't worry. Lives were lost. But we got you the episode, and we are happy that things are up and running. This will be the first of 4 episodes this week. We have 2 Bachelor recaps, one coming, well, as soon as they're done. You know, like, we're going to get them up as fast as possible, but we're operating with a lot of content. Recapping night 1 of the Bachelor finale, the wonderful Christina Harris will be with us. I will be coming directly from the AFR studio after I've given
eye.
poignant thoughts on Clayton and the mess he's created. Does he continue to demonstrate some of this anger and scary behavior? I've thought about it more, and I don't know.
Based on who you know is showing up with you, like the other alums, are you like...
I don't know who else is showing up.
Oh, I was going to wonder, like, are you like the alpha? Are you like the team leader of alum?
I don't really think in those contexts.
Okay, I just didn't know. I can just see you like sitting in the middle front seat of like a bunch of Bachelor alum just like holding Clayton accountable.
I don't know how they perceive me, but I just...
Yeah, are you like the uncle? Bachelor Nation?
The fun uncle.
The smart uncle, the insightful uncle.
I don't know. But Christina Harris will be with us recapping it. She is a massive Bachelor fan. If you don't know who she is funny and interesting and has a lot to say. And that's what we like on our shows. Night 2, Allie Barthwell. You know her, you love her. If you haven't listened, our Ask Nick audience, I'm sure many of you listen to the recaps. If not, jump aboard this week. You just might as well.
Oh, my word.
Allie Barthwell will be with us, and then we will be getting, I don't know who we're getting, but we've been told that there will be angry and upset with Clayton. A scorned person, if you will. I don't know if it's going to be Susie. I don't know if it's going to be Rachel. I don't know if it's going to be Gabby. It will be one of those 3 ladies, and they will be coming directly from the hot seat of AFR to that couch right over there. With, I assume, still a lot of emotion.
Piping hot
emotions. And quite frankly, probably new emotions, because while they did wrap filming not too long ago, as I've said before, the season doesn't end until after the AFR. And, did Clayton end the season in a relationship, and then is he still in the relationship? Could he have pulled a I think there's a lot of options, and reactions will be heightened. The tea will be hot.
Yes.
So that will be coming out early Wednesday morning as well. So make sure you listen to them all. Ladies, anything new?
Well, do you remember I was telling you about that random guy that I matched with on Hinge that DM'd me on Instagram?
Yeah, the guy who was in did I convince you to follow up?
So I opened it, yeah, because I was going to respond and not be rude.
It wouldn't have been rude for you not to have responded.
Okay. So I did realize, because I went back to our DMs, we switched from Hinge to Instagram DMs starting on July 28th.
I was half being like, I did realize that he sent a dick pic, sir.
No, that would have been a hard left.
Oh, that's why I got it.
Sure.
Yeah, the last thing we talked about was him getting a gum graft procedure.
What?
A gum graft?
What is a gum graft?
And I had asked him, gum sourced from yourself or a cadaver? Because I'm me.
Sister in med school, check.
Well, it's like my family has a lot of receding gum issues. So several of people in my immediate family have had this surgery.
Do you overshare on first dates?
No, like I don't.
I do.
How is me asking where he's getting his gum source from oversharing?
No, but like telling about your family's gum history might be a mild overshare on a
I don't
first
think it's
date.
that she's oversharing. I think
He
it's that
brought it
Allie
up.
has
Okay.
unique experiences. So it's like stuff that... So it's not that she's sharing something ultra personal. It's
I'm
just
very
that she's
open.
Sharing something unique.
Sure.
I'm
yeah.
very
Okay,
open.
great.
Very open.
All right.
So the last time we talked was on August 2nd when I asked that question. And then he DM'd me yesterday and said, hey, you,
Wait, so he didn't answer the gum graft
No, he
question?
did not. No, he did not. And I still don't know where he got his gums from.
He was like, this is weird. I'm going to wait 4 months and give her another shot.
Yep. Hey, you, how is life treating you? And then at 6:09, I said, it's been good. How about you? And I haven't heard from him.
Is it seen?
No.
Okay.
I just think I looked back at that text and I was like, wow, I really did ask that question. I think it's funny that he gave me a second shot.
That could not have been a funnier last message to send.
Gum sourced from you or
He's
from a
gonna
cadaver?
do the same thing and scroll back and be like, oh, yeah.
You're like, oh,
But
totally.
that
Gum
was the
girl.
last message. Like, he clearly saw it before he slid on in.
Maybe.
Maybe I made an impression.
He's definitely like just fishing. But that also could be fine.
He's got some new gums.
If
he
he
wants to
doesn't-
put them to the
If
test.
he doesn't respond like by today, I wouldn't waste your time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. Because this
Like if he
reminds
waits
me
a
of
week to respond,
the other guy who did this that like popped
Yeah.
up out of nowhere after going silent. And then we like exchanged 2 more texts and then he went silent again. I'm like, what is the point?
yeah.
Other than, I don't know. I was going to offer another. There was none.
I am going to Vegas with a man I recently met.
Bar guy?
Yeah.
Bar guy?
Yeah.
That's going to be his.
Why not? You know, I was going to go to
Yeah,
Vegas.
why not?
I was going to go to Vegas already for.
The season of dating yourself.
Going to
Continues.
Vegas.
You know, I think it is. I would argue that going on some interesting experiences, creating some stories. Like, I don't think this is going to be like a romantic night in Vegas. I think
Can
it's
I
going to
ask
be
you-
like a crazy bender.
Yeah.
Which I think is a way of like,
Oh, that's your excuse?
It's not intimate. It's drinking.
This isn't about love.
It's
We're
about
going to
getting
fuck
sad
in
about bad
a
choices.
really weird way and probably do some drugs. There might be a sex worker or 2 that are involved.
I'm not.
I'm just
I'm
joking.
not.
How can we make this not about us?
Is this why you asked where I was staying in Vegas?
Well, no, I was just curious if you'd
Oh.
ever been because I hadn't been
Oh.
before. I'm going for a friend's like,
Oh, you can take him to it. Oh, he'll love a Jim Jeffries.
yeah,
That's
Stand
a
up
good
special.
little date.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
plan. And then my friend's having a birthday.
What happened
there.
on Friday night?
I'm not talking about it.
You gave in.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't actually. No,
get-
I didn't.
Did you get together?
No.
Then what's the problem?
It's okay.
You don't
No,
wanna put it
Nick
out
is
in the-
alluding to the fact that I was canceled on Friday.
It happens to the best of
It's
us.
fine, but you.
Sometimes you get canceled on. It's not a big deal.
He followed up with a trip to Vegas. So
No, I think the trip was your idea.
Well, yeah, he followed up with like making plans, and then I was like,
we should go to Vegas.
no, what I said was, I have a crazy, probably infeasible proposal. And then he was like, okay, whatever it is, yes. And I was like, hold your yes. It's a lot. And then
Are you
You
driving?
just suggested Vegas.
Yeah.
You,
Are you
are you
driving?
driving?
Road trip.
I've never driven to Vegas.
Hmm.
Weirdly, I don't know. I feel like that's.
You're not poor.
I
It
feel like if you
happens.
got on a plane together, it would be more serious.
Yeah, seeing someone at the airport is intimate. So
when they take
But
their
also
shoes
you're-
off.
But you're also taking a road trip.
Yeah, but people are shells of themselves at the airport.
Okay.
I think
well,
airports are
sounds
fun.
We'll see if I make it back. I think it will
I think
be.
you'll be fine, right? You're no murdery vibes.
No, not murdery vibes.
I think you'll have fun.
I'll share my location with some friends.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
I'm available.
The only. I'm sure you'll have fun, but like if you don't, that road trip back.
That's a good point. Although at the end of the day, I feel like
you can
I-
push through
I
things.
took a lot of
more
Uber
than
pools
normal.
in college.
Yeah.
I took a lot of really outrageously long Uber pools where I ended up talking to a lot of different Uber drivers. So I think at this point,
Do you think that gives you training to
I think
like
I'm
take
pretty
a 5-hour
carry-
drive with someone you've had like
terrible sex with.
awkward, terrible sex and got into a weird fight over nothing?
I was gonna say you didn't fuck anyone in your Uber pool.
first of all, I think we'd only do one of those things. And second of all, I don't think it will be. You can just play music. I'll throw on an audiobook.
I would-
I'll throw on a self-help
She
audiobook.
pulls
I
on-
don't give a fuck.
She starts the Viall Files, episode 1.
That would be.
I think it's great. Have fun. Be safe.
Thank you.
Hey, on you goers out there, you podcast listeners who just don't listen. Some people are busy doing other things. I find myself to be at the stage of my life where if I'm not good at things, I don't try to be. I just have other people do it. And if you're not a person who likes to be in the kitchen, you're not good at preparing healthy foods, and you don't want to eat out and have junk food all the time, well, Sunbasket is right for you. Amanda, tell us all about Sunbasket.
Okay, so for context, I am that girl who always gets the scallops at a seafood restaurant. That is my go-to food. That was what I tried from Sunbasket. Delicious. And it had like a good side. I saved the side, had some of that. It was like a good like couscous situation. Saved that for lunch the next day. And it's just like, I didn't expect to get like really high quality seafood from meal delivery, but it was awesome. And I cooked someone a dinner and got a lot of brownie points for that.
Their award-winning chefs are constantly innovating with new recipes and global tastes to keep it interesting each week with dozens of options, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free, or low-carb, or high-protein options. Sunbasket has something for everyone. They check every box. Set up weekly delivery and skip a week when you need to. It's simple, easy, and you'll love it. Right now, Sunbasket is offering $90 off and a free gift when you order. Go to sunbasket.com/VIALL and enter promo code VIALL at checkout. That's sunbasket.com/VIALL and enter promo code VIALL. Kick off 2022 with a better checking account with no monthly fees. Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, has no overdraft fees, foreign transaction fees, monthly fees, or service fees. With over 60,000 fee-free in-network ATMs at many locations like most Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS, you can access your money when you need it, where you need it. You can also send money to anyone even if they aren't on Chime. Fee-free for you and no cash out fees for them. So make your first good decision of the new year or make one of many good decisions you've made by joining the over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up today. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't reflect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/VIALL. That is chime.com/VIALL. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by The Bank Corp or Stride Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Get fee-free transactions at any Money Pass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes pay anyone instant transfers can be delayed. The recipient must use a valid debit card or be a Chime member to claim funds. Well, we have a great episode for you, so we will get to it. Don't forget to set in those 5-star reviews, especially on Spotify. It's super easy. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify, just go in and tap 5 stars. That's it.
And if you
do it right
always
now.
hear Nick say this and you're like, I'm going to do that one day, maybe make today the day you do it.
It's so fast.
Pull the
It's
trigger.
2 seconds.
And do I need validation for my ego? Yes.
He
I can
does.
acknowledge it. Like,
He cries.
I don't cry, but like,
We don't need to do a Clayton situation here. I
You
didn't
know?
cry.
I did cry. Or on iTunes. Thanks for listening, and we'll be with you all week.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good.
What's your name?
I am Rachel and I'm 27.
How can I help, Rachel?
So I'm a digital nomad,
Okay.
meaning I work around, I travel around and work remotely for my company.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I feel like that's more common recently. I feel like I've seen that more out and around. People like, I can work remotely, so I'm going to live here for a month and then there for a month and kind of see the world while work. Is that kind of what you're
Yeah,
doing?
the pandemic kind of let me do that because my company is a lot more relaxed now, and I can work remote from wherever. So.
Good for you. That's awesome. All right. Cool.
So I spend around a month in each place. And as a way of meeting people, I turned to dating apps. I met some great guys on there, but there was one in particular in December that I met. Him and I really hit it off on our first date, so much so that I went back to his place that first night. The next day, he texted me that he tested positive for COVID.
Did you guys hook up or you just like hang out?
We hooked up, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So then I also tested positive. So we decided we might as well quarantine together.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. That week also happened to be Christmas. So I spent Christmas with this guy who I just met and away from my family.
There we go. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's one for the books. I will say that, no matter what happens. It's
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So you spent Christmas, you had great first date, you had some good sex, got COVID, that sucks. Then you spent Christmas quarantined with this guy. It's like being on The Bachelor. All right. Yeah.
Pretty much. So then even after quarantine, we spent kind of every day of that remaining month together. On the last day, I kind of realized that, I kind of like this guy. And I told him I wasn't really ready to say goodbye to him. And I told him I'd like to see him again. So he responded saying, yeah, I agree. And maybe I'll come to wherever you are next. So I'm currently back in the States. I have to be here until mid-April to take care of some things. And then I'm heading back out then. So we've been talking here and there. But honestly, it tends to be me reaching out. When I do reach out, he's very responsive and interested and, asking questions, excited to talk to me, but it's me every time.
So I want to pop back to quarantine.
Okay.
Like, how intense was that? Were you guys hooking, were you just sick and watching movies, or were you asymptomatic and just hooking up like crazy? And then when quarantine ended, I'm curious, did you guys have any conversations about hey, that was intense, but hey, we also don't know each other. What were there any next steps of what's going to happen now that you spent literally Christmas and a week together, living together? What were those conversations like?
So I guess to answer your first question, we had a cold.
Okay.
So yeah, we were hooking up, but we were also, just watching TV and kind of pretending like we lived together.
Yeah.
There wasn't any conversations about what we were doing.
There wasn't.
No.
Okay.
But, once we were done with our 10-day period, we kind of just took it outside and we went to bars and, did things in the city together. Yeah, but yeah, there was no conversation.
And then since then, things have kind of slowed down.
Yes. So we're in two very different countries right now. He did 2 weeks ago, he asked me to come to Paris. He booked a ticket just out of the blue because it was $30 to go. And he was like, oh, you should come too. But I kind of took it as a backhanded invite because I'm in the States. I feel I don't know. I just kind of took it as a backhanded thing.
Is he American, or is he you meet him in Europe or something?
He's from New Zealand, but he lives in Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting wrinkle because, you're this digital nomad, right? I think what you need to do, and I think something that you failed at doing, and something, even if this doesn't work out, that you need to start doing for yourself, is that you have to be courageous enough to have some upfront conversations with, you got to stop playing it cool with people that you're interested in. Especially, everyone does, right? Even if they live across the street from each other. But in your case, there are such easy outs for people and for yourself to be oh, well, I'm traveling. Of course, the assumption with someone like you is that you're off to somewhere else a month later. So it's so easy to assume a casual relationship with a person who seems to not have roots anywhere. Especially you're not committed to even a place, let alone, so someone would be well, why would I didn't think you'd want to date me or want to be anything serious. So if you do, I think you're most likely to be the one who probably has to just say, hey, this is nuts. We spent Christmas together. I still plan on traveling, but I had a great time with you. And I haven't met someone like you before. And I want to keep investing in this. I want you don't have to be I want you to be my boyfriend. You just say, well, how do you feel? Do you feel the same as me? This is what I want, And yeah, I think checking in more would serve you well because your unique situation offers people so many outs, And again, you're the extreme. Anyone listening, I would give the same advice to if you get caught up in a situation, you guys getting COVID, spending Christmas together, that you just decided to embrace, but you recognize that it's probably not, super healthy. It's like people who go on The Bachelor and they get engaged, right? I can't speak for every conversation that people have. I've been in that situation, and that conversation goes something well, we're engaged. But let's slow down. Let's get to know each other. Let's take the pressure off what engagement means to one another. I think most couples have that conversation of listen, I do love you, and I meant this engagement, but I think we're okay to just not put pressure on each other. And I think that's a conversation people have because that's such a crazy, way to fast forward a relationship.
Right.
In a lot of ways, yours is no different kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And
I don't want to like put pressure on him that I want this big relationship. I just want to, say if I'm going to Greece in April, like will he come?
But
I don't
you
know.
need to tell him what you're interested in, not ask him what he wants. You hear me talk about all the time. And so you're the one traveling, you're the one who's chosen this life, and that's awesome. That's so cool that you're like investing in yourself and seeing the world. It's what allowed you to meet this guy. But you need to be the one, if you know what you want, to tell him. Like you're it in the game of tag because you know what you want. And that is, I want to learn more about this guy. I want to like more. I want to spend more time. I've liked everything I've had so far. And that might change, but I do know that. So I'm not going to sit around and wait for him to like hopefully tell me the same thing. I'm just going to tell him and see what he says because you know what? I don't know what he's going to say. If he doesn't do what you want, you will be sad and disappointment. Yeah. And disappointed, yeah, sure. But at least you can start to move on. Like, you don't seem like you're like, I'm obsessed with this guy. I can't live without him. That's not what you're saying. You'll be bummed. And then you'll go to Greece and like meet a really hot guy from Greece,
Right.
Yeah. And it'll be fine. But at least you'll be available in Greece. If you don't have this conversation and go to Greece and then you're still like wondering if like maybe he'll show up and maybe he'll surprise me or maybe this, then you will take yourself off the market, which people in these like situationships often do. And this has turned into a situationship, right?
Yeah.
A romantic connection where, and you're the hopeful person and you're hoping, he hasn't really defined himself as single yet because it's unclear because of these like unique variables. He could easily be just being like, I don't know, I just want to play it cool. And he could easily be using this as a cop-out, but you have to go for it. You have to put yourself out there, especially when you feel like an invite to Paris. Out of context, when you're like, a guy invited me to Paris.
Yeah.
Most women would be like, wow. And literally in my dreams. And you're just like, yeah, but it felt like he didn't mean it. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying like you did get invited to Paris, but you have such a unique situation. You need to be the person who gets clarity for your situation. You can't be relying on other people to give you clarity that you want. That's on you. That's on us.
How would you go about having that conversation since we can't do it in person?
Yeah, FaceTime them, Zoom. Don't do it over text.
Okay.
I mean, if you could do over text, I don't recommend it. And I wouldn't like, this is not some big statement. It's like, hey, we need I don't give them we need to talk.
Yeah.
Just like, listen, we haven't talked about this. I've really enjoyed my time with you and I still have plans on, and all I'm saying is it sounds crazy, but like, I want to learn more about you because I see potential with you. Do you see potential with me? We're talking, that's what it is. You're talking about potential.
Right.
And if he gives you the, like, thanks for saying that, but like, then and just so you know, if your ego, if you get rejected, your ego will be triggered and you can convince your ego, like, and it might be true. Maybe maybe your situation you're in is too much for him to handle. And you know what you say then? You just say, okay, well, let me know if that changes. I'm going to Greece. And then you, again, like any other situationship, you don't chase him. You go live your life as if you like don't miss him and see if that sparks a response from him to be like, fuck, what am I doing? She is great. Like, I am going to make her a priority. I'm going to make sacrifices. I am going to like go out of my way. I'm just not going to reach out to her when it's convenient for me. Don't make it convenient for him. Right? Like, that's how you know. Like, everyone's always like, how do you know if they like you? When you don't go out of your way to make everything super convenient for them to hang out with you, because like you don't really know why they're hanging out with you. I'm not saying be a pain in the ass. Do what you want to do. Give him the window that he has, and don't be like, hey, come if you want. Just be like, I want to know if you want to come. Otherwise, I'm gonna go meet some other guy from Greece.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
not taking myself off the market for someone who's not gonna take himself off the market for me.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
But I definitely don't think you need to like do the whole we need to talk and make it like some big heavy conversation. Just throw it out there. Tell them that you are interested, that you see the potential, and you don't know what that potential means, but you just want to like keep hanging out and you want to go out of your way to see him. and that you hope he feels the same way about you, and see what he says.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
And in the future, if it doesn't work out, like, 50-50, this doesn't work out. Next time you meet someone and you get caught up in a situation, don't be afraid to like check in. Don't be like cool. Like it would have been appropriate for you guys after quarantine to be like, well, that was nuts. How you feeling?
Yeah. I guess in my head, I was thinking, it's only been a few weeks. Like, am I crazy to
Again, you're not saying let's get married. You're just saying you're acknowledging what happened. We spent every day together. We've been hooking up, getting naked, having sex, spending fucking Christmas together. There's a level of intensity that like we shared as a result of the situation we were forced in. And I just want to let you know, like I had this could have gone terrible.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you bring it up. But like we could have hated each other.
Yeah.
And we didn't. In fact, I kind of like you. And like, I don't know, like you live in Scotland, I'm traveling the world. Clearly, like we're not like, I'm not saying let's run to the altar. I'm not asking anything. I just want to know if you see the same potential in me as I see in you. And see what he says.
Yeah.
And then the next conversation might be like expecting a little bit more and setting more boundaries. But like you saying that after 2 weeks is more than reasonable when you've been like getting naked the whole time. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable. That doesn't make you crazy. Like, if you get naked with someone, you have the right to like check in. Like this new bizarre world, we're just like, I don't want to be pushy. But how are you feeling about me? Meanwhile, you're naked.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yes. Thank you.
Let us know how it goes.
Will do.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Hair story. Whoa. Hair story. It's all about that hair. And the founders of Bumble and Bumble and a team of hair industry vets with decades of experience have created the wonderful thing that is Hair Story. You could argue some shampoos and conditioners do more damage than they do good, but not with Hair Story because it's all about replenishing your hair to make it as vibrant as possible. Instead of detergent, aloe vera juice, and a suite of essential oils and extracts wash away what you don't want and preserve what you do want. It's loved by beauty editors, hairstylists, and hundreds of thousands of customers. Talk about your Hair Story experience.
Well, I've had a lot of people visiting me lately and like staying at my apartment. And I always feel like you have to be a good host with like specifically the bathroom. You have to have like your towels and like get them a razor and get all their stuff. But I have friends with very different hair textures and I don't know, different scalp needs. And I have had each of them use Hair Story the past like 6 weeks. And all of them have talked about how soft their hair has felt. And I've like watched Caitlin when we went out to dinner, just like touching her hair. And I was like, that's Hair Story for you.
I don't think you need a better testimonial than that right there. So if you want to get on the Hair Story train, check out Hair Story at hairstory.com and use my promo code VIALL and you can get 15% off your first purchase. The code will be applied after customer creates an account at checkout. That's HAIRSTORY.com and use promo code VIALL to get 15% off. What's going on?
Hi, Nick. My name's Elizabeth. I'm 32 years old.
How can I help, Elizabeth?
So I'm having an issue with my sister, and I wanted to get your take on it. Basically, what's going on is she has a 40th birthday party coming up. She asked me if I would be down to go away for the weekend for her birthday with some other people. I told her, yeah, sounds good. Let me know the details when you start figuring things out. So she hit me up a little while later. I found an Airbnb. She sends me the link. It says $5.99 a night. Tells me that there's going to be like 5 to 8 other couples going. And so I'm thinking $5.99, 2 nights between 8 couples. Like that sounds doable for me. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it sounds good. I hear from her. I hear from her a little bit later. She's like, it's going to be $420 per couple. And I'm thinking that's more than I was expecting it to be. So I tell her that. I'm like, why is it that much? I thought it was $5.99 a night. She goes, well, that was advertised price, but it was more expensive for the night that we were going to go for my birthday. Okay.
Gotcha.
Talk to my husband. He's like, that's like a little more than we thought, but okay, like, let's do it. Then I get contacted by her a little while later and she's like, oh, it's actually going to be $460 a night. And I go, okay, why is it more money? You said it was going to be $420. And I just need to know how much everything's going to be. If it keeps going up, I might have to rethink it because we're in like a tough spot this month financially. I'm purchasing a car, so I put a deposit down. We were on a vacation at that moment. And we don't do that often. So we're spending money on a vacation, taking time off work, not getting paid, and then trying to get out of debt. We have other stuff to do. So I just sort of explained that to her. So she goes, all right, if it's going to be, I'll just pay the extra $40. If it's going to be, I don't want to deal with like the drama or the negativity, so I'll just pay it. So I just tell her, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just in a different weird spot financially, but we're going to be there. It's going to be fine. We ended up Venmoing her for the full amount. We talked about, we're like, okay, let's just do it. It's fine. Right after that, we ended up getting in like a tiff, her and my other sister, about something unrelated that had to do with my mom. She's staying with my mom, her husband, and her 2 kids for a full day. She was watching her kids. There was stuff all over the place. She tripped over a high chair, broke her wrist. Me and my other sister were kind of upset that she was tired from watching the kids all day and then even had something to trip over. So I contacted her and her husband, and I was just like, hey, can you guys please not leave mom with the kids for really long periods of time? And can you not leave stuff around that she can trip over? I don't want her to get injured any further or be taken advantage of or anything like that. And they were just saying like, all right, thanks for the feedback. We're not taking advantage of her though, but like, thanks for your feedback. And then that was it. I didn't respond. I just wanted to say something so that they would think twice and hopefully that wouldn't happen again. And then that sister that's living there with my mom, the one who's having the birthday party, sends out this mass text saying like, it's none of your guys' business what we do. If we want to leave the kids with our mom, that's my business. If we want to, they're allowed to leave the occasional toy out. Don't tell us how to parent. You're crossing the line. So I didn't respond to that either. I was just like, all right, I'm not trying to get in a big fight. Her and my other sister, though, are going back and forth. I don't respond. So then
is everyone fighting with each other or are there sides?
My 2 sisters are fighting with each other. Okay. I'm on good terms with my sister, it's not her birthday. We're fine. And kind of on the same page about being worried about my mom. And then my sister,
whose
Maria,
birthday thinks you're cheap.
Yes. So the one who thinks I'm cheap. She's kind of upset with me now because what happened was, this is like the main thing. She hits me up again after this fight saying, hey, wine tasting is going to be $150 a person plus tip. So it's going to be like another $360 that me and my husband were like, oh, we did not realize it was going to be that much plus food. So this is now like $1,000 weekend and we were not expecting that.
That's a lot.
So yeah. I don't know, for us, it feels like a lot.
It all depends on everyone's situation, but I don't think for the average person, that's a lot. That's a vacation.
Yeah, especially for a group trip.
Yeah. Yes, thanks. That's what I was thinking as well. Because when I told you how we were on a vacation and we spent $1,000 for the entire 8 days we were there. So we saved up for that. So we're like, whoa, that's another $1,000 for just 2 days. 45 minutes from my house, Yeah. Anyway, so I talked to my husband. He's like, I think that's going to be too much. That's not what I was thinking. That's a little bit too much. We don't really have that. We have it, but it's not like something that we were budgeting for. That's too much for us to spend on a weekend. So we call her. She doesn't answer. Me and my husband both text her, hey, we're really sorry, but financially we can't do the whole weekend, but we want to be there all day Saturday to celebrate your birthday. So just Venmo, keep whatever you need for wine tasting and tip, and Venmo us back the rest. And yeah,
she already bought a leather jacket or something. I'm just kidding.
Because I'm going to treat myself for my birthday.
She's like, sorry about that money. It's gone.
It's gone.
Anyways, what happened? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
So she does end up Venmoing us back the money, and then it seems all right. She's like, okay, fine. Here's your money. But then she sends me a screenshot to me and my husband, and it's a screenshot of a text conversation between her and my other sister. And she's basically telling my other sister that she got into a fight over me with her husband because her husband was telling her, I wouldn't plan anything with her without cash in hand. She's going to disappoint you. There's going to be drama.
Your other sister said this about you.
No, my sister whose birthday it is, her husband said that to her about me. And it was a fight, and she stuck up for me and was saying, no, she would never do that. And so she was telling my other sister about it in a group text.
Well, how did you respond to that?
When she sent me the text?
Yeah, because my question would be, why what's your point of sharing this with me?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
definitely.
did you want to let me know that you had my back, or are you letting me know that my husband was quote unquote right? I mean,
I know. I think it was
like,
probably a combination of the two. Knowing her and maybe a way for her to see if she can kind of get me to go. I don't
I
know.
don't know what your older sister's older, so is she more like financially stable? I mean, she's older, so maybe she's
Yeah.
had more years to, I don't know what her husband does, or I have
They're in
I have
a
more money now than I did when 8 years ago,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how far we are apart in age too, 8 years, and she's much more stable. She has multiple homes. She owns a business. She has
Okay.
another job.
Yeah.
She's in a good place, and like
So
I'm
she's
okay,
completely out of
but
touch with knowing that if you have multiple homes, this is my humble opinion,
yeah,
and you want to invite people to your event, your party, to celebrate you,
hmm
and you want to do a destination of some kind, you either invite people that can afford it no problem, or you offer to like pay, or don't go like. And again, like I don't like I have a lot of siblings, so and not all of them in their same financial situation that I'm in. So I don't plan destination birthdays for myself and invite my family. But if I did and I wanted them all to be there, there's some of them I would be like, as a son, like wherever I want my parents to be, I pay for, because well, they gave me life and everything I have. But that's just my choice. I'm in a very fortunate situation financially right now with my life, and I'm very grateful for that. And so I try to be mindful of that. I'm not Robin Hood throwing my money around, but at the same time, like if I want to celebrate me, like fuck, and with family, and I don't want to assume like that. That's just me. I don't know.
that's kind of how I felt. I will say this though, when the price was initially that 420, and I asked her, wait, why is it that much? She did say it's actually going to be like over $1,000 a night. It was on a different, it's more expensive for a weekend and fees and whatnot. She was like, I'm actually paying more. I forgot what she said, but she's like, I am paying more, but so she is like paying more than everybody else, but
Yeah, but
she's
like
still
still,
asking
that's
a
like
lot.
that's all relative.
Yeah, it is relative.
She might be paying more, so she thinks I'm paying more, but that doesn't change how something may or may not be affordable to you.
Yeah, definitely. And
Or
I wish
like
I would have.
you can kind of check in, like just be like, if I'm your sister, at a minimum, I'm just like, hey, this is something I'd like to do. Is this like reasonable? Like, if you're asking people to spend money, I mean, what's interesting about this call, a lot of people have different opinions about this. Yeah, everyone listening is in different financial situations. But I know there are some people, like if you have like a birthday party and you invite people to your dinner, when we were younger, all your friends would like nut up and like, let's all pitch in, we'll split the check and we will pay for the birthday person. When you're older, I mean, there are people who are just like, if you throw your birthday dinner for yourself, you pay. You pay for the dinner, you're celebrating. You want your friends to be there. It is your like, I want to be around special people. So like, yeah, come over for dinner and I'll buy, like if you throw a party for your birthday, you pay for the food and you bring it over. Your sister's 40 with a second fucking home. She's not in college, asking her like closest friends to come out and I'll split the check. I don't, that's just, I'd love to hear your. This would be a perfect. You should call in for a mediation. We need your sister on this.
I know.
Yeah.
When I was worried about that because I just don't know how she would respond if you try to. I don't know. She's like a tough one to communicate with sometimes. I mean, we don't get in like a ton of fights, but when we do, it's really hard to have a normal conversation with her. That's why I usually like just try to avoid fights completely, because just getting into it usually makes things worse. That's what her and my sister are doing now over that thing with my mom. And they like start insulting each other, below the belt kind of comments. It just turns really bad. So I avoid it. So when she did send that screenshot, my response was, there's not going to be any drama. It's going to be really fun. We just can't afford the whole weekend. And we're really looking forward to it. And my husband responded saying, sorry. that you guys got into a fight over that. We don't mean for you to fight over us at all. But, we can't do everything we want to do financially, and I need to be careful for these reasons. And we'll be there, and we're really excited. She's like, you know what? I appreciate the response, but you guys can always make more money. It's just money. She was
Your
like,
sister with a second home said you can always make more money and it's just money.
Yeah.
That's awesome
Yep.
of her.
She's like, you can't get these experiences back, or family or memories. And my husband was like, well, that's true. That's why we are going to be there. We just can't be there for the entire weekend. So now she's not talking to me. I saw her once. She's very standoffish.
And the weekend hasn't happened.
No, it's 2 weeks from now. So of course I'm feeling guilty, and I've brought it up to
I'm
my
only hearing
husband.
your side of the story, but I'm like, I don't know if I've ever been more 100% in someone's corner.
Really?
I am in yours. I mean, again, I'm not saying you're lying, and Eddie, it's just I'm only hearing your side, and I am so.
Well,
your sister could not be more wrong.
Everything that was discussed in text message, and I sent all of those text messages. So like literally everything.
Oh, I have it? Oh, yeah.
That's it. I haven't spoke to her in person about anything. So what you're saying is what's happened.
I just like, think about it. Like your sister, again, if you have a second home, you're in a good position relative to the average like American. And you're just, God, have the self-awareness not to tell people how to spend their money or what's affordable to them. Or it's, congrats for your sister and her husband that like making money is so easy for them. And again, I recognize that I'm in this thing called Cameo. I don't know if you've heard of it. And sometimes I joke around when I like waste some money. It's like, I just have to wish someone a happy birthday. I'm in a very fortunate position that I can like, people enjoy me wishing them a happy birthday. I get self-conscious about it. Seems silly, but I'm blessed to have that happen. But I recognize that. And I don't just go around like calling up my sister or brother who are in very different situations in different walks of life and different ages. And they're maybe in between like maybe quitting one job and following a passion that might like require them to take a little bit less money. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All these different variables. And I think it's fucking nuts for anyone in your sister's position to just assume that or not recognize how good they might have it and tell other people close to them how to spend their money and just be like, oh, you just make more money. And then even though you're trying to go to her birthday event, even though you're like, listen, this is still money, but we're going to be there. Now she's like giving you the cold shoulder prior to leading up to her birthday celebration. If I were you, I wouldn't fucking go. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not spending money to be fucking miserable around you. That's what I would. I mean, that's just me. Might be a little bit more spiteful than you. But where do we have these?
I have thought about that, like what it's going to be like if we're there. So I'm wondering if I should try to have a conversation with her. I don't want it to be awkward and dramatic. I'm not going to be dramatic. Neither is my husband. And if we're there, what would be dramatic is if she's giving me the cold shoulder, being standoffish. And if her husband makes any kind of little comments, because he's he's really fun and like jokes around, but he also has no filter and will just say anything. So, I mean, I'm just wondering, is there going to be sort of like some comments?
I mean, you know your sister better than I do, but it's just so weird. This reminds me of a story. Like when I first moved to LA, there's a lot of like interesting people in LA. And I met this guy who, my financial situation was very different back then than it is now. And I was hanging with this guy who lived in this community called Olympic Village, beautiful house. He clearly was doing well. At least even if he like spent all the money he had to show his wealth, he was still doing well. He referred to himself as like a billionaire at the time. Definitely not a billionaire. He would talk about his money all the time. And then he would like invite women to like sit with us. And I wasn't even eating. And then he'd want to split the check. And then he would call an Uber and then have a split in Uber. It was just the most nuts thing. It's just like you're talking about your money constantly, but you want everyone to split. And that, like, reading your sister's text, that's what kind of reminds me of, where she's just like, I have all these plans and we're going to do this and this is what I want to do. Keep in mind, this is not like a family event where like your sister's organizing said event and she's like taking like notes from everyone. What do you want to do? What are you interested in? What do you like to eat? No, your sister is just like planning her favorite weekend, asking people she wants to spend it with to be involved, and then like charging them.
Yeah.
Am I missing something? Because she has like her
No.
like she has what's on the menu. She's just, sorry guys, I'm spending a lot on this vacation. This is yours. I'm really excited to celebrate, and I agree to 420, but I need to be mindful of what I'm spending and set boundaries, or I'll be screwed. Everything adds up. I hope you don't take it too personally. Love you. Just a lot of things that came up in a short period of time. I'm really excited about your birthday, and I'm budgeting for it. The food, the wine tour, and a bunch of. And I'm ready. For a bunch on Sunday. I'm ready for it. Excited. Yeah. Someone hearted the message. I'm assuming that your sister.
Yeah.
And she responded back, "Hey, I need to know who is in for my birthday, including wine tour." And this is like a group. Oh, this is you. This is you and another person.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
know.
a little bit later.
And Venmo.
Yeah.
So she just hearted that message and then kind of like sent to you and your sister like basically who's in, who's not.
Yeah. At a later date.
Conversation, who's coming. You remind her again, hey girl, just sorry, but we're financially can't do the whole weekend anymore. You want to celebrate your birthday, like you said, I'm sure. She responded, so basically what you said. Oh my God. You're going to love this.
What?
You already know, but I'm going to also keep an extra 20 per person for tip because they automatically add it. She is nickel and diming everyone. Mrs. Second Home. Done. You have your money. Okay, thank you. You are too kind. Sister's a terror.
I also just think the fact that she wasn't upfront about the cost of it just shows that she's really not operating from a mindset of like this could be a big financial thing for people.
She thinks she's being upfront.
Yeah.
But like, what's $80 to one person is completely different to someone else.
Right. And changing the price of like the accommodation and the food and everything else is just like, I don't know, kind of displaying that like even from the way she's communicating, it's evident that she doesn't really see your perspective or take into account your needs.
Okay, we know your sister sucks. So how are we going to handle it? So is that your question? Like, what should you do?
Yeah. So yeah, because I feel really guilty. So there's been like
all right, stop feeling guilty. You have my permission. I don't know if that matters to you to not feel guilty. You're clearly so kind and empathetic here, and like I personally think you're being taken advantage of by someone who like it seems to be really only concerned about their birthday. She's a Birthday-Zilla. I suspect that your sister is like this in life.
I feel like things kind of are usually like on her terms. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's because she has kids and I don't, and she has like whatever the case is, but I feel like things usually are kind of on her terms or her schedule. And
you know what? I have no problem. I'm a self-sufficient guy. I do what I want when I want to do it for the most part. But I don't expect people to come along if they're not into it. I certainly don't make them feel guilty for not wanting to spend money they might not have. So if your sister wants to like do things in her terms, I don't have a problem with that. You know? Yeah. But like this whole like drama, like I think the only appropriate response would be to your text of like, hey, we're not gonna be able to hold birthday weekend, would be like, hey, do what you can. I really appreciate you guys like doing what you can because I know it's not easy. I'm excited to be there when you are. Like that's literally the only suitable option your sister could have responded with. Yeah. That I think wouldn't have like meant that she kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So do you think then, I mean, I wanted to see what you thought, and it sounds like you're kind of in my corner. So you're obviously in my corner. So now if I'm not going to bail on the whole weekend or just the whole thing. I'm not going to not go. I'm still
what do you think about the possibility of calling your sister?
Yeah.
Or saying, hey, you available for lunch? Do you guys live in the same area? You guys?
Yeah. I can just show up at my mom's and she'll be there. Yeah. So.
Nah, I don't think you should do that. I think you should ask her out to lunch or a coffee. You could get on the phone at a minimum. Definitely not text, and definitely not around other family members. Okay. And you just say, hey, listen, first, again, I love you. I want to spend your birthday with you. But it hurt my feelings that, like, to be totally honest, it feels like you are dismissive of my financial situation and my husband. Is it your husband? Your husband?
Yeah.
Financial situation. And like, I mean, what do you want? You want me to, what do you mean it's easy? Maybe it's not as easy for me to make money as it is for you. I hope to be in your position one day, but like, I don't feel like I should feel guilty because of this. I want to be there. But like, since then, it feels like you've been giving me the cold shoulder because I can't afford to do what you want on your birthday. And like, I don't want this type of energy. Like, I can't afford what I am spending.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I love you, but like, not, I would confront her a little bit. I would stand your ground, and you can do it in a respectful way. You can remind her that you love her. You can, but like you could, and then use the words like, it feels like, this is how it feels to me.
What if her response when I'm saying it's just not something we can afford is, you can afford it. I know what you make. You could afford it if you wanted to.
I would lose my fucking shit. It's not your right to tell anyone how they should spend their money or what they value. She's your sister, right? She's not your conscience, right? So she has no idea what you're into, what your hobbies or what, like, she doesn't know everything about you. I don't know. Maybe you guys made a bad investment in Bitcoin. I don't fucking know. Like, it's not her fucking place to tell you how to spend your money. And I would, if she says it, I would respectfully say, listen, with all due respect, I don't tell you how you to spend yours. Please don't tell me how to spend mine. You don't know our financial situation. You're my sister. Trust that I'm being honest with you, that this is like a big ask and I'm trying to make it work. But like, life's not all about you.
Yeah.
No offense to your birthday. Like, I don't know if I feel like, picking up extra shifts at work. I want to enjoy my husband, or I want to like, whatever. I don't have to explain myself to you. How about you just say thank you for me trying to make it work for your birthday, and we'll enjoy ourselves. Because if you're going to make it miserable, then we won't come. And listen, the good news is, as family is, she's your family. And sometimes they cannot talk to you for a couple months or whatever, but they're your family. So that's just how I operate. But I think it's important to set boundaries with siblings and family members and parents. They're never going to cut you off. And you're 100% right here. You just are. You do it in a respectful way. Let her know. Don't come at her. But like, I don't think you will. You're you can tell you're very kind. And I think people take advantage of your kindness, to be totally honest. But yeah, I think the healthy thing to do would be to set a boundary and have a one-on-one conversation with your sister and respectfully let her know that, like, I don't appreciate the way you talk to me or how you tell me to spend my money, or, but I will be at your birthday and I'll spend what I can, as long as like you can tell me that you're just going to be appreciative of it and not be miserable. Because I don't want us to like come and be made to feel guilty or have it be a thing or hear like off-putting comments from your brother-in-law. And if she can't respect that, then there's a world where you don't go. Let her know. No, it's not okay. She'll come around.
That's really helpful. Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna talk to her. That's very helpful. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it.
Very often people, you're 100% right here.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling.
I needed that.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Right.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Take care. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
And
How old
I'm
are you?
25 years old.
How can I help?
So I have this interesting situation with it's kind of like work and personal kind of combined. About a year ago, I joined it's like a committee at my work. It's kind of like more along the lines of like we plan events and stuff for a wider business, but it's not actually like aligned with people that I directly work with. So it's people that are all around like my age, planning events for like the younger population at work. Right when I joined, I noticed on like Zoom that I had actually matched and talked to somebody on a dating app that was on the committee. I didn't actually directly work with him, but that's kind of part of the story. So then life goes on.
Planning committee, like at the office?
Kind of. It's like we plan like fun events, like health and wellness events, stuff like that. So about a month later, I actually like see him out at a bar. Totally.
So you matched on an app, but you guys knew of each other at work?
No, because I actually started in the role like right before I joined this committee. So I remembered at the time, I was like, oh yeah, he does work there, but it didn't like. Is it
safe to assume that when you swiped right, you thought he knew you worked for the company as well? Like,
oh no, sorry. To be clear, we had matched like a year before that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You matched a year before.
Yeah. Okay. So like before we even worked together.
And you're like, oh, this is like some guy I matched with a year before. Okay. And then you saw him out. Okay.
And I saw him out.
Okay.
So this whole like one night thing, really nothing comes of it, but that did happen. And then a few months later down the road, him, myself, and someone else on the committee kind of like became friends. We all live in the same town. We started hanging out like outside of work. The whole dating app thing is one night thing is in the past. But I become really close with the two of them. We're kind of like a group of three. So a little bit further down the road, I'm closer with the other one.
Is it a guy or a
and
girl?
Guys, two guys, me.
Okay.
So the one who is not on the dating app, a few months later, tells me that I think I really have feelings for you, all this stuff, and kind of becoming awkward because like we do all work together in the same floor, same setting. It's just like now we're directly not working on the same teams. But I had told him, like, look, I really don't think that's a good idea. Mixing like work stuff with relationship stuff. It's not like anything that I really want to complicate, yada, yada.
But the truth is that you just weren't that interested. Because if it was the other guy, you probably would have been like, well, like, what's H&R's policy?
Right. So, well, not necessarily. I mean, it was awkward. Like after the first guy, like it was uncomfortable in meetings for a little while. Like then we go back to the office, you have to see them in person. And it's always just like there in the back of your mind, but it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. So yeah. So then this comes up and I tell him like, look, I don't want to like overcomplicate things with work. I just think that we should stay friends. You're a really good friend of mine. You mean a lot to me. So he decides that like he should pull away as a friend, like doesn't think he wants to be that close and everything. That's fine. We don't talk for a few months. A few months go by. He comes back. He's like, I really don't think I handled that situation properly. I would like to be your friend. I'd like to, like, I know we work together.
I actually disagree with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost do too.
I feel like that's an appropriate response. He shot a shot. Good for him.
Yeah.
You didn't want it. He needed to take some time. Like it would be more weird for him to be like, all right, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Exactly.
He shot it. And then he came back and said, I've processed my feelings. I'm over it. I've accepted it. I feel a little less awkward. And like
Right. So all good. He comes back. We're friends again. This has been the past few months. We got like really close, like just being friends again. We live in the same town. Like we just hang out, like not anything weird, but like happy hours with other people, nothing like one-on-one or anything that would make it uncomfortable. But then actually this past week, we had the dating app guy is moving away. So we had a happy hour with other people from work. And I guess after I had left, he had mentioned to the one that I'm now friends with about what happened almost a year ago at this point. So he gets upset and he's like, you told me that you didn't want to like complicate things with people at work. And the three of us.
Wait, what did he tell him? Like nothing happened.
He told him that we had hooked up one time.
Oh, you did hook up with dating app guy?
Oh yeah, once. That was the one night that I saw him.
You breezed through that. You made it seem like, I saw him out and we like, you literally said nothing.
Oh no. Yeah, okay, once. There was nothing more.
So you met him out that one time, you had some sex, and then you guys just...
We moved on.
Like, you didn't talk about it, you're like, all right, whatever.
Right. Never talked about it, never took anything further. One time.
Okay.
So now the other guy finds out this past week about it, and he gets all upset, like devastated. You lied to me back in the fall. You were like that. You weren't telling the truth. I was trying to explain to him that like one night and breezing over it is a lot different than like when there's feelings involved and you complicate things. And it's
what did you say to him?
So I said, look, I'm sorry for not telling you. First of all, I don't really like to talk about stuff like that, especially like it's a little bit. It's none of your business. Like I kind of said, like I don't necessarily even like say these things all the time to like people that I'm really close with. Like let alone somebody that I work with, that I'm friends with at work. Like, I don't want you looking at me differently. It's like a really personal thing.
Oh, yeah. Because the response is, listen, I'm sorry you're upset. Because I'm sorry you're upset is not an apology, by the way. But that is an appropriate time to say I'm sorry you're upset because you have nothing to be sorry for. But you are sorry you're upset.
Exactly.
And the point is, like, I learned my lesson. And I don't feel like it was your business for me to tell you about like my past partners, but that was part of the reason why I felt the way I did, even though you were kind of lying.
Yeah. But exactly. That's
even
exactly
still,
what I
like,
said.
if you want to, if there's a lesson to be learned, like, you know, next time just tell the truth. Hey, listen, I'm just
Right.
not feeling you, and I just don't see that, and don't bring up work, because that was
Right.
kind of an excuse you used, and maybe there's some truth to it. But like, if it was something you were really into, you would have figured it out.
Right. Exactly. And I agree with that.
That
And
being
I have
said,
said all these things.
he is overstepping his place with the
Yeah.
expectation that you were somehow supposed to tell him about your past partners.
Right. And like we were not even like it's not like we're dating,
Yeah.
like we were friends.
Did you say that to him? Did you check him?
I did. So I did tell him. I was like, look, I mean, that's a personal thing. I'm not somebody that really goes and like talks about that stuff to begin with, whether no matter who it is in my life. Like I'm not super open about it. It's a personal thing. On top of that, it was a little bit awkward after the fact with him. So that set a little bit of a precedent
Yeah.
for me with people at work. Like I didn't want to experience that, especially on like a more serious level.
He got jealous and embarrassed about the story he heard from the other guy and took it out on you.
Yeah. So it goes a little bit further. So then he decides no more, like has to back away again, doesn't want to be friends anymore, whole thing all over again. And I'm like, okay, look, I understand. Like, this is clearly something that is recurring for you and I bother you to some degree. But now, and this actually just happened yesterday, it's been a little while, we haven't been talking. He comes back again and is like, I really value your friendship. I want to be friends with you. You mean a lot to me. I want to move past it and be close and be friends again. And I don't know what to do now because it's so awkward because I don't want to necessarily be like, hey, like I don't want to be your friend or whatever, because we do have a lot of the same, like, I don't know, senior management.
He's not
We're
interested in being your friend, though.
I know, and I can't tell. Like, I really, truly don't know. I'm afraid that, like, either A, he's already at that point where he doesn't want to just be friends, or B, if he's not already, then he's going to be soon. And then I'm going to have to go through it all over again. And
And you guys still work together.
We still work together, and we work on the same floor. We have a lot of the same, like,
I mean, quite
senior
honestly,
managers.
it's getting to the point where it's becoming an issue for work for you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's like we're like,
you're good.
you know, like harassment's a strong word, and
No, yeah,
the fact that he works with you just makes it's not harassment, but like he is not being cognizant of the fact that you guys work together. He's not respecting the position you're in, and he is being reckless with the positions he's in. Listen, he's got feelings for you. I empathize with a guy who, like, he's trying to just face this rejection head on. He hasn't done anything like terrible. He's human. We've all felt embarrassed and prideful. We all took out our frustration on someone who didn't deserve it. Like, I'm not trying to come down on this guy, but you gave him a second chance already. And the truth is, he confirmed the second time what you suspected maybe the first time, and that is he's not really interested in being your friend. What he is interested in is keeping you around and close because he just has a crush on you, and maybe he even thinks and convinced himself he can be friends with this person. I always give Amanda, one of my assistants, a hard time that, like, she loves to think she can be friends with everyone she's ever dated. And, like, sometimes that's possible. But, like, you know, we're human. But for you, the fact that you guys work together, I don't think you have to do anything, you know? And I don't think you're going to or should do this per se, but I think you'd be within your right to take this to HR. You know, I don't know if you should, but I'm just saying, I think at this point, there's no wrong thing for you to do because you've been put in this kind of uncomfortable situation where you have to consider work as part of the equation. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a normal dating situation, you wouldn't have to be like, but I work with this guy. And the fact that you are thinking, but I work with this guy, so that might change how I address this guy. Like, you shouldn't have to be made to feel that way at a place of employment. Does that make sense?
And no, it does. And it's also like it's uncomfortable because we're in calls together. Like, I have a call with them in 30 minutes. Like, and we have to sit on Zoom
together. Is it just
together.
the two of you?
No, it's a few people, but and then, I mean, I'm going into the office too. So we do see each other in person. We sit close together. he knows my manager. Like, it's like crossing these weird lines now where it's like, I don't know what he could say about me to people. Like, could it change my reputation? Not that I necessarily think that he would.
Are you
but
actually worried
I
about
don't-
that?
Not really. I think I overthink. I get overly anxious about things
Sure,
like that.
I hear you.
But
But I just don't think you should
but
have to worry about that at all.
I don't think so either. And
Here's what I think here's what I would do if I were you. And again, like we're getting into a territory that like I'm not an expert in HR policy or things like that. So
Yeah.
like take my advice with a grain of salt. But if I were you, I would give him the benefit of the doubt to talk to him at least. I wouldn't just like go to HR and I wouldn't ignore him. So I would acknowledge what he
Right.
said. But I would hold my ground and be like, listen, I think you're a great guy. But the fact that like this is the second time you're coming back into my life after you've decided that you couldn't be in my life, which I respected, but like I respected the fact that you couldn't do that. And the fact that you're now coming back in, I'm just not ready. I'm not in a position to just be your friend. Like,
Right.
I understand your feelings were hurt, but you accused me of something that, like, quite frankly, wasn't any of your business. And like, I'm totally fine to be cool with you. Like, we can be friendly, we can be
Yeah.
chill, but we're just, I just think we're past the point of no return when it comes to like us being friends, because it just, I have no confidence that something might come up with you being triggered about the emotional, like about your emotions as it relates to me or something to that effect.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, that reminds me now. The first time that it came up, it was because like we were just talking as friends, and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing today?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going on a date." And I started like going on dates with this guy, and then that's when he started pulling back and was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that's when the
he's not
feeling."
interested in being your friend at all.
Right. So I'm like, okay, so what happens now if I start like dating somebody? Then do I have to deal with this
Yeah,
all
you don't.
over again?
I don't think you should be his friend. I think you can.
Yeah.
I think you can respond to him or not respond to him. You don't have to do anything. I don't think you owe this guy anything.
Yeah.
So I want to make that clear. And then if you
Right.
do want to acknowledge his request, you just say, "Listen, I think you're a great guy, but I just don't think us like hanging out as friends is a smart thing." You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't get to come and go. Like that's
Right.
you
he just
distance
keeps
yourself from
doing
me
it.
as a friend 2 times now. And I think we should just leave it at that. Like I think we can be cool if we go hang out at work, we work together. Like I think you're great. I have no problem being around you, but I just don't know if we're ever gonna be friends like we used to, because quite frankly, that I felt that situation was upsetting to me as much as it might have been upsetting to you. And I don't want to
And
go
it,
through that anymore with you. And I think you just leave it at that. If he doesn't simply just respect that, then I think you have to start considering like protecting your reputation at work, or engaging HR. Again, I'm not an expert in that, so maybe like talk to someone who's like a little bit more well versed when it comes to stuff like that. But you shouldn't have to worry about that at work.
no, that's a good point. Is to like kind of take it as a like maybe we should be less good
Yeah.
friends, just work like colleagues, and then
Now, I wouldn't even say
if he
less
can't
good
respect
friends. I'd say I'm like
just
friendly.
professional. Yeah.
Like of course I'm like I think you're great, and I have no problem being friendly and then like interacting with you. Use words
Yeah.
like that, and I would text it to him so you have a paper
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because yeah, maybe talking in person is not ideal then.
I don't think you should do this in
He
person.
right. Because I just
I think
I
there
don't
should
know
be.
how long
And
it'll take
I
it.
do think there should be a paper trail of you trying to set a clear boundary with him.
I think so too, because just because I know him and I know how he is, like he told me that in this last little stint where we were not communicating, how horribly difficult it was for him, and that
So, yeah, I don't give a shit
it
about
was
his feelings anymore. All he cares
yeah,
about is his feelings. That's
yeah,
clear about this guy.
yeah, and it does bother me. Like I think about it because like you said, it crosses over to work, right? Like we know a
Yeah.
lot of the same people from a
I think
professional
you're trying to be too
perspective.
cool about this. I don't think you should ever have
Yeah,
to feel this way. You try to be cool, and if you want to give him the courtesy of like setting this boundary with him and asking him to respect that boundary, and say things like, "I think I have no problem being friend. I've never had a problem being friendly with you, but as far as like being friends again, I think you know." Um, I think that ship is like I'm not comfortable with doing that given
yeah.
what's happened in the past.
No, that's I really need to do
Or
that,
you
I think.
say like in the
I
past,
just
in the past, you were friends with me in the past, and being friends with you, you judged my personal life because it didn't fit in with how you wanted it or something. I don't even know if you have to give them that much. I would keep it very
right.
brief. I'd almost keep it professional.
Yeah.
I would I'd want your text to sound have a hint of professionalism
Yeah.
more than like a personal text, because I want him to get the hint that like you're thinking about work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And if anything, this entire situation has defended my stand on what I had said to him months
Yes.
ago. Like, even just us being friends has now caused a disruption for me at work because of the
100%.
dramatics
Yeah.
we've gone through.
So I don't, some
yeah,
version of
no,
that.
I
And
know.
maybe get like do you have any friends you know about like HR stuff? I don't know.
I do, probably I do, but yeah, no, I need to do that, and it's perfect timing
But
because
have a paper
things are
trail,
just
text it, and even have that response be brief and as much as it's professional as it is friendly.
keep it something you could say in like a work setting.
Text
Yeah,
people in the sense that if people at work saw
yeah,
it, it would come across as someone who is trying to set a boundary, who has dealt with this behavior in the past and is hoping not to deal
yeah.
with it in the future. That's what the tone should read. And I don't think you should worry about his feelings.
I don't think so either. I think I need to stop being too nice about it. I really have a problem with like I think sometimes I'm too nice and I
Yeah.
try to let people back in. So
And I'm not trying to just like come on this guy too hard or suggest he's some like terrible person. I think he's just getting too caught
yeah,
up in his own feelings. He's not being professional. He's being
yeah,
inconsiderate of your feelings and how it like relates, and he's not taking no for an answer in a really
right.
passive aggressive way.
That is exactly what I need to do. I just need to hear it from somebody, I think.
All right.
No, that helps.
Well, best of
a
luck. I'm
lot.
sorry you're in this sticky situation, but
Thank you. It's okay. It's just the crossover between work and
yeah,
personal life can
lesson
always get a
learned.
little complicated.
Yeah, lesson
Lesson
learned.
learned. No, seriously. Seriously.
All right. Well, it seems like a relatively harmless lesson, but
Yeah,
still
at least
it
could have gotten worse,
Yeah.
you know.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, nip it in the bud, and I think hopefully you should be okay.
Will do.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, what a great episode. Well done, us. Don't forget to tune in to all our episodes this week with Recap 1 with Christina Harris, Allie Barthwell Tuesday night, and someone who's really pissed off after AFR will be with us to probably talk a lot of shit, and you won't want to miss it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Tuesday Bachelor recaps and Wednesday celebrity and expert interviews. See you next time.